I've been using a digital planner since about 2020, but I want to switch back to paper-based planning because I'm really starting to feel like my plans are beginning to get lost in the ether. And I had used paper. I stopped in January 2020 doing it regularly. You can probably figure out why. So I bought this towards the end of 2019. And then beginning of January, at that time I was living in China. And then I went back home at the beginning of January. And then I couldn't get back in to China to my job until about end of February. And because of that, I didn't have this with me. I kind of just dropped off and then I never really fully picked it back up. My last bit of planning was here the week of January 6th, but then I was gone by then. I have all these notes for my rent fapiaos and my Chinese language lessons. And then I never picked it up again. Yeah, after that I switched to digital and it's been, working kind of okay, but as I was saying, stuff kind of disappears or I just keep on dismissing them. So maybe the trick is getting back to paper. That said, I do love this vertical time format here. This is basically the weekly spread that I look at on my phone. I can't do a 3-day view or anything. I always have to do a 1-week view and then in this sort of time format. Problem is now that although I love this format, I find that it doesn't really work for me anymore because I have my work schedule and then that goes from, typical job. I want to say 9 to 5, but mine's really from about 6 to 3. And I don't want to be putting my work in here. So either I'm going to stick with this format and leave up until 3 p.m., 4 p.m. blank for myself to do, I don't know, a little bit of journaling, some notes, make it look nice with stickers, all that. And then there's this life section as well, which I love. The paper is slightly different. It's really smooth to write on. Is it Mia or Mayo paper? I just filled out a little bit, such as your accomplishments by whatever age. Maybe I should put in some fake family information as well so that when someone finds it, they'll say, oh, she had a secret family? Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. It's messed up. I also have this stencil here, which isn't meant for this. This is meant for the campus edition. So they've got things here like all day, half day, and they kind of fit in this format, but not quite. As it'll say half day and whatnot, and that won't really make sense in this format. But they kind of fit the blocks like all day pretty much takes up 4 hours, which is half a day. And then it says things like a third of a day, a sixth of a day. Okay, I don't know what the campus version looks like, but anyway, it's okay. I don't really use it. I don't know why I got it. I don't know why I still have it. I mean, why would I throw it out? My earliest planner that I still have with me, I travel a lot for work, as in I live in all these different countries long term. So what's happened is that I threw away my planners, which I shouldn't have. I really regret it now. I should just keep it back in, I don't know, somewhere in storage with lots of silica gel packets. Anyway, the earliest one that I still have is this. It's the Hobonichi Mother 3? What is it? Mother 2 version. It's from the 2015 lineup, and it looks pretty cool with all this detail going on. I really enjoyed playing this game back in the day, and it isn't niche anymore, but back in the day, I would play this, and whenever people got together to talk about video games, we would all be shocked that you know what Mother is, because it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't, and then whenever people were playing Smash, they would choose Ness, but they wouldn't actually know who Ness was or what game it was from. Anyway, I'm not quite a big fan of their paper then and also now, because you see me making a plan, making it's really a diary of my visit to Malaysia, and you can kind of see the bleed through of the previous page. And then here you can see it coming through on the empty page on the other side. So I hear that their paper quality has actually gotten worse as of this year, 2025. As much as I'm tempted to go for the day version, I'm probably not going to get it again. I am really tempted by the Tamagotchi cover, but put a Midori A6 dot grid notebook in it because I have an A5 Midori, which is amazing. I put it in one of those Midori covers, and I really like the paper feel of it. It's just lovely to write on, really smooth and thick too. Well, thicker. It's not that hard to be thicker than this paper. The other one that I've kind of got is from the next year after this. It's this, I believe it was called like the 70s version of Hello Kitty. And it does kind of look like 70s-ish, 80s-ish Hello Kitty stuff that I grew up with. Had a little Hello Kitty ribbon there at the bottom. The only issue with this is that it's made from this glossy kind of 70s, I guess, 80s plastic, and it's not really holding up all that well, because you see, if I open it up, you can see where it's sort of, well, it is peeling off. I am tempted to get a cover for it. At the time I didn't need a cover for it because it's, it's already pretty okay on its own, but I still think it'll peel if I get a cover for it. I never really got around to fully utilizing the A5 cousin version because it was just too much for me. So I replaced the insides with a Stalogy 365 notebook. Also quite thin paper. My reasoning was that I would just fill it in as needed. What has happened is that I turned it into a scrapbook of sorts. I'm not sure if that was such a good idea because the paper is really thin. I put in things such as exhibitions that I went to, more exhibitions. I really need to cut these things in and not insist on putting the whole thing. This was my first page in it. I probably have the events on this page on YouTube somewhere. But I never quite filled it out much. I've been collecting things to put in it, but I never gotten around to it. Typical. Still telling myself I'll get around to it. And then I had so many stickers and cool washi tapes and whatnot. And then moving, having a weight limit. So I only kept a few things. I need to build up my collection again. And I also need to stop being so precious about stickers, because just use the stickers. They're better on the page than in a collection. Now that I live in Indonesia, I've been on the hunt for a planner made locally because, you want to try out the local stuff. A5 is too much of a big size for me. I know I got this A5, but this is supposed to be at home. I'm using this as a diary. Will I regret it? Because the paper's really thin here. So I'm thinking that instead of putting all these scrapbooky things here, I'll put it here instead. I don't know. I need to sort out my thoughts. And I might need to get a cover for this, because this one has a cover, but that said, this doesn't need much protection because it's got that textured material. It's almost like coated canvas. So far I have this planner from a local company. It's called Blessing Bell. I've only had it for a week. It's on clearance, so that's why they're cheaper than they would be full price. I got it specifically for this message. It's an A6 size. It's actually, I feel like it's smaller than A6. I compared it to the Hobonichi Inside, the book Inside, and this one's a bit smaller. When you compare it to my B6 Slim Jibun Techo, whatever, that's the size difference. Anyway, it's a really soft feel imitation leather. It almost feels like goat. Similar to the Hobonichi system, they've got little quotes up here. And it's just one quote per 2-page section and nothing else to it. So instead of being the cringe that I often thought Hobonichi was, it's kind of okay. For example, there's this Hobonichi quote that I found while flipping through it. So sometimes it's insightful, and sometimes it's cringe, and sometimes it's both. So this one's nice. I think it's pocketable enough for me to bring maybe in my bag or wherever that I need to be at. At the back, we've got some blank pages. These are what the planning pages look like. I've only had 1 week so far, and this is what I have going on. So far, this is working out as my content diary. Or is it going to be the full-time diary? I don't know. I think I kind of need a version of the Jibun Techo, but I need a top section where it only gives me my hours from 4 p.m. onwards. I can probably just take the 4 p.m. hours there, and the rest of it is a journal. I did get another option because it was super cheap. It was something like 49,000, which I'll do a video about when it arrives. This one here cost 94,000 rupiah, I think, on Shopee. I'm pretty happy with it so far. It remains to be seen if this system works for me, because maybe it would be better if it was in the Hobonichi week style, where it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, instead of like that. Because then I would be able to split it down the half and see it in separate columns. We'll see. I'm just gonna test it out. The other one I have coming, that is a dated version, 2025, and I only have a few months left in it, but it was 49,000 rupiah. So that's alright for a few months. And that is the Hobonichi style instead of like this. So we'll see which format works for me. The B6 Slim or this smaller than A6 version, I swear. Because here's a Midori A5. Okay, that's A6. Okay, it is A6. In that case, Hobonichi is slightly bigger than A6. I've been researching planners for the next year if I don't settle down with either this or the next one coming.